I left when she said he made her feel alive. I didn't argue. I didn't ask for clarity or cling to the past. I didn't try to remind her of all the days I stood by her side, all the nights we fell asleep tangled in shared dreams. I just looked at her, really looked, and felt something in me quietly unravel. I took a breath that felt like swallowing broken glass and said, "Then I hope he gives you everything you're searching for." And I walked out, not because I didn't love her. God, I did. But because there's nothing more soul-crushing than begging someone to stay after they've already envisioned a life that doesn't include you. If you've ever been replaced by someone who only ever knew the surface of the person you held in your arms through every storm, you know the hollow silence I carried that day. My name is Daniel. For nearly 6 years, I loved a woman named Brooke. We met in a quiet, unremarkable way, through a mutual friend at a dinner party. We ended up sharing a laugh over greasy pizza, and somehow that laugh turned into 1,000 late-night conversations and slow Sunday mornings. It didn't happen fast. What started casually grew into something deep and soft and terrifyingly real. She was fire and light, spontaneous, tender, the kind of woman who cried during animal rescue videos and danced barefoot in the kitchen. I was quieter, steady, the one who made sure the door was locked, the plants were watered, the bills were paid. We balanced each other, not because it was effortless, but because we both chose to keep showing up, until one day she didn't. It started with a new job, marketing lead at a flashy tech startup. It was everything she'd worked for: excitement, recognition, purpose. But it came with long hours, unfamiliar names, and company retreats that bled into weekends. And then there was Jason. At first, he was just her boss. That's how she introduced him. But eventually, the way she said his name changed. It was subtle, brighter, lighter, like her mouth was smiling even before the words formed. I noticed. Of course I noticed. One night, gently, I asked, not accusing, just curious. She smiled too wide and told me I was being paranoid. Said she was just excited, stepping into a new phase of her life. But the way she pulled her hand back when I reached for her in the car, the way she started turning off the light before I came to bed, it said more than her words ever could. Then one evening, she sat across from me at our kitchen table, the one we picked out from that old secondhand shop, the one we argued over but ended up loving. She looked at me like I was a stranger and said it. He makes me feel alive, like I was a ghost she'd been surviving, like everything I gave her had been a slow death. I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't ask how long she'd been feeling this way. I just looked at her, saw the truth in her eyes, and I realized I'd already lost her long before she said it out loud. So I left, quietly, with nothing but a backpack and the pieces of myself I could carry. The first few nights, I didn't sleep. I stayed in a cheap motel 40 minutes from the city, staring at the ceiling, running through every moment, every choice I made. I wondered if I missed something, some warning sign, some final chance to pull us back. Friends reached out. I didn't answer. My mother called. I lied and told her work was hectic. I couldn't bring myself to say it. I could admit that she'd chosen someone else, that I wasn't enough. Eventually, I found a small apartment in a quieter town. Just a mattress on the floor, a coffee table from a thrift store, and a silence I couldn't drown. I took a job at a hardware store. Nothing special, but something to get me through the hours. The owner didn't ask questions. I think he recognized the kind of ache I carried. That quiet wreckage of a man who didn't get closure, just absence. Nights were the hardest. Not because I missed Brooke, but because I missed who I thought she was. And that's the truth no one tells you. You're not grieving the person. You're grieving the version you believed in. The one who felt like home. The one you were certain would never leave. I didn't text her. Didn't watch her social media stories. Didn't ask our friends about her. I deleted her number, not out of hate, but self-preservation. Because I knew the sound of her voice would tear open wounds I'd barely managed to stitch shut. By month 6, I could breathe again. I painted the walls a pale gray. I adopted a rescue dog, a little brown mutt with tired eyes and a crooked tail. I named her Penny. She didn't fix me, but she gave me something to come home to. 9 months in, I agreed to meet someone for coffee. It didn't go anywhere, but I didn't talk about Brooke, and that felt like progress. By month 11, I stopped flinching when someone said her name. I was rebuilding. Not loudly, not with fireworks, but slowly, brick by brick. Then she came back. It was a Thursday. I'd just gotten home from work, covered in sawdust, sweat, and holding 2 grocery bags. I was fumbling with my keys when I heard a voice I hadn't heard in nearly a year. Daniel. I turned, and there she was. Brooke. She looked the same, but smaller, like life had worn her down from the inside out. Her eyes were red. She held a folded letter in her hand. I didn't move, just stood there. Let the silence hold us. I've been trying to find you, she said. Well, I said, here I am. She stepped closer. It's all in this. Everything I never said. Everything I should have told you before I threw it away. I didn't reach for the letter, just leaned against the doorframe and waited. I lied about Jason, she whispered, about how I felt. I thought I needed more, but it turns out more was just noise. He never really wanted me, just a thrill, and when it got hard, he disappeared. She was crying now, barely holding herself together. I broke us, and I don't expect anything. I just need you to know, the only time I ever truly felt alive was with you, and I destroyed that. There was a flicker inside me, a part that remembered late-night laughs and sleepy kisses, and plans we never got to make. But the man who would have opened the door and tried again, he was gone. I looked at her, really looked, and said, You didn't ruin us, Brooke. You ruined you. She lowered her eyes. I'm sorry, she murmured. I hope you heal, I said softly. I really do, but I'm not yours anymore. She cried harder. I didn't reach for her. That wasn't my role anymore. She walked away, quietly, just like I had almost a year before. I stepped inside, set the groceries down, sat on the floor beside Penny. My chest ached, not because I wanted her back, but because that final thread had snapped, and in its place was peace. If someone tells you they found something more outside what you built together, let them go. Don't beg, don't plead, don't chase. Walk away. Because sometimes the only closure you'll ever get is the silence that follows the truth. And if you're lucky, that silence will turn into peace.